Start your day with a boost, the natural way. Welcome to Shroom Brew Cafe, where our Shroom Brew coffee energizes you naturally. Experience the perfect blend of rich coffee and powerful mushrooms that not only wake you up, but also enhances your focus and supports your digestive health. From our energizing Shroom Brew coffee to our specialized products for focus and digestion, Shroom Brew Cafe has what you need to feel your best. Visit us today at Dr. T23.site, that is DRT23.site, and discover the power of shrooms today. Let's start the show.
Hey, come on in and welcome to A Win is a Win podcast, where sports and everything else collide. Comfortable? All right. Let's go, Dr. T.
Y'all ready for some football? It's time, y'all. Get your shirts out. Get your jerseys out. Let's go. What's your team gonna do this year? Are y'all ready? I am. It's time for some football, y'all. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yep, it is time for another episode of A Win is a Win. Hey, listen, I hope everybody's doing okay. Coming off of a long weekend, we had lots and lots of football. But we are not going to waste time. We are going to get right into everything. But first, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. And don't forget to tell someone to tell somebody else to join A Win is a Win. And hey, thank you guys for running the numbers up. We surely appreciate it. But go ahead and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And then you remember, it doesn't even cost you a thing. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit that notification bell so that you know when a new episode drops. I think it's only appropriate if I start this episode off with OH. All right, hopefully my Ohio State fans jumped into it. That's right. You already know what it's going to be like on this podcast. Yep, because I'm really like that when it comes to my teams. Ohio State Buckeyes took the W, but we will get back into that shortly. But first, let's jump into some of these games that happened this past weekend. I hope you guys are excited as I am that football in general, college and NFL coming up this week, is back, and I'm talking about it is back and bigger than our backs during the holidays. You hear me? Now let's jump into the action. Now, the Arizona Wildcats, McMillan, put on a show. I mean, he showed completely out, looking almost like a baby Calvin Johnson. Now, the wide receiver one is sort of kind of like a shoe-in, if you ask me, for the 25 draft. Wide receiver one, what y'all think? Of course, get down in the comments in the chat, let me know. But they beat New Mexico 61-39. Now, the 6'5" wide receiver, listen, the young man runs 22 miles an hour. 22 miles an hour. That is, you know what? That kind of goes into what people allude to, how fast somebody is on TV versus in real life. But just think about 22 miles an hour in a car. And then 22 miles an hour this man is putting down on the field. Crazy. He had 10 catches, 304 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns. Now trust me, when you talk about stat lines, that stat line is crazy. And you know what? He's had a lot of hype around him. I know down in Tucson they call it McMillan Mania, and rightfully so. But there is no way that this young man is not going wide receiver 1 in the 25 draft. Excuse me. Jump down in the chat. Let me know what you think. Buckeyes. That's right. The Buckeyes, listen, put on a show. 52-6 over Akron. That's right. Now listen, the Buckeyes, Jeremiah, Smith. I'm saying it now. I'm calling it now. The young man is next up. Okay. He has arrived. Okay. And not only did the Buckeyes put on the show, he put on the show himself. Listen, when you talk about, people who come into their own, okay, they come into their own, they're coming into who they are, and you're looking ahead of that, sort of like we did Ted Ginn or Marvin Harrison Jr. and his dad. It's, you look ahead, and even if you go down south, you got Jerry Jeudy, you got all of these guys who we could see ahead. And when you look ahead of Jeremiah Smith, this young man on his debut showed out 6 receptions, 92 receiving yards, and 2 total touchdowns. Listen, not only that, okay, not only did they take the W as we all expected, I know I did, they would. You got some kind of cool coaching happening here. Now, listen, Ryan Day was the Eagles head coach, if you remember, back in 2015. He's now the head coach, obviously, of Ohio State. You got Chip Kelly, who was the Eagles head coach 2013 to 2015, and now he's Ohio State's offensive coordinator. That circle is crazy. I mean, and even though, they go way back to the city of brotherly love. I mean, and some people say, okay, well, Tiffany, nobody likes Chip Kelly. Okay, I get that point as well. But if you just look at the nostalgia of this and how this whole situation just came back full circle, I think in spite of what people think about Chip Kelly, I think that he, along with Ryan Day, will do a good enough job coaching Ohio State. There's another Manning in the building. Yep. So you got Arch Manning, okay? And he's a Longhorn. And he showed out in limited minutes, okay? Limited minutes and limited action versus Colorado State. 5 out of 6 passing, 95 yards, and 2 total touchdowns. And I believe one of those were rushing. Yeah, 1 passing, 1 rushing. Now, some people are saying, okay, well, hold on, Dr. T. They are glazing this guy just because he is a Manning and a backup. Okay. Well, I don't know if it's glazing or if it's just simply giving him his credit for the show that he put on. I believe that's what that's called. And a lot of times we could get words mixed up on what they mean. Well, I don't think that anybody's going overboard when it comes to the young man. I think he's put up the numbers. I think even in limited action, he showed what he can do. And it wasn't a bad show, if you ask me. He didn't come out and put on a bad show. I mean, okay. And so then people are misconstruing who his family actually is. Okay. His family, yes, is the Mannings, all right? And yeah, we know that. But to be clear, Cooper is his dad, okay? Cooper Manning is his dad, not Eli, okay? Eli and Peyton are his uncles. And if you go a little further than that, Archie is who? His granddad. So that's the lineage right there. And I don't, feel that he's getting any type of special treatment as of yet, just because of his lineage and just because of his name. He hasn't had that so far. And some people are even going as far as to say, oh, he'll be QB1 next year after Shedeur goes in the draft. And so then we have the Manning effect. We don't know that either. Who said he was going to Colorado? I haven't heard that. But then again, we have things that are put out there. Why? Because it's just good content, but it's not facts. No, I haven't heard and didn't hear anything about that. But nonetheless, let's not overlook what he's done in this past game. He went out on the field, limited action. He did what he was supposed to do. He put up some decent numbers. And regardless of his last name, that is all. And that's what he was supposed to do. Listen, Ashton Jeanty. This young man put up some video game numbers versus Georgia Southern. Now, listen, 267 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. Let's just let that sit there for a minute. He's a running back. Okay? A running back. And for me, when you put those kind of numbers up, I'm calling Heisman front runner. Right now, so far, I'm calling it Heisman front runner. I mean, let's do this. Jump in the chat and tell me, who do you think his NFL comp would be? I was watching the game and I kind of see two different people when you think about it. I would say Alvin Kamara is one of them. And I kind of a little bit see Thomas Jones. Just a little, but more of Alvin Kamara. So who do you think, if you are familiar with Ashton, who do you think his NFL comp is? Now listen, for those, with the Travis Hunter hate, I'm going to get into the comments that I've seen for a minute. And what I would say is this, okay? It is, in my opinion, I want to be sure that I word this the right way. 6 touchdowns as a running back is harder to get than 3 as a wide receiver. Follow me on that? Do y'all pick up what I'm laying down on that? 6 touchdowns as a running back. You know what you gotta go through? You're not a wideout. You're not already 80 yards out, 50 yards out. You know what a running back has to run through? Listen, wide receiver. I'm out wide. I'm receiving the ball, and I'm not taking anything away from wideouts. I'm not. But 6 TDs as a running back? Come on, y'all. Y'all got to do better with some of these comments and make it make sense to me. I mean, I'm all for it, but 6. That man is running through walls. You hear me? Walls of traffic to get to that goal. And let's give him his flowers right now, because he's showing out. Listen, video game numbers, y'all. Go and play college football 25. It's out. I played it. Video game numbers. The sun was out and the Devils came with the heat. Yes, the Sun Devils was scorching the Cowboys and sends them 2-0 and took the W 48-7 and sent them packing back to Wyoming. That's right. You know, they're coming into the season 1-0. And I know now the Sun Devil fans are like, oh yeah, we're going for the chip. And very well could be. But what I saw was a completely different team in that game. Completely different team. So forks up to the Sun Devils, stepping up for the Big 12. Defense looked good. And guess what? SEC is next. So let's see what they can pull out with the SEC. You know, I know a lot of times when it comes to Arizona State, sometimes we don't. And I live in the Valley of the Sun. Okay. So, and I've seen a lot and heard a lot with these Sun Devil fans. And sometimes they have lower expectations, and then you have a game like this and boom, and then all of downtown Tempe and downtown Phoenix goes crazy. And honestly, it's good to see. It's good to see that. But now, you know, you got some of the students are like, build Dilly a statue. Well, I don't know yet about that. It might be a little bit too early. Let's see how they handle the SEC. Okay, let's see what's coming up with them. Listen, 40 consecutive W's. 40. Who do you think that is? What team do you think that is? It is the number 1 Georgia Bulldogs. Yep, them Bulldogs is still on top. And guess what? When you talk about Carson Beck and what he did in that game, excuse me, against Clemson, crazy numbers. He didn't throw a bad pass the whole game. The entire game, he threw dimes. The whole game. The whole game. Listen, he went for 278 yards and 2 touchdowns. All game. Clean throws. Now, the Bulldogs have won now 40 consecutive regular season games and 23 straight non-conference games. They are not here to play. Okay? They are making a statement, and I think from what happened last year, they are coming in dogs. They are already Bulldogs, but they are coming through the doors like, okay, we getting ready to eat our food and yours. Okay? Interesting to see how their season is going to end up. Listen, the Buffs trio went to work and came out 31-26 over North Dakota State. Yep. So you had the trio, Shedeur, Travis, and Jimmy, put in their work. And although it's a question I'm going to get to here in a second, and although they scathed by them, I do see some of the same things I saw last year, and I don't think that their run game should be trusted just yet. But Shedeur put up 445 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Travis Hunter, 7 receptions, 132 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And then Jimmy Horn had 7 receptions, 198 yards, and 1 touchdown. Now, here's my question. Okay. Who told the Buffs OC to call a fade ball while being up with a minute to go? Who does that? Who does get in the comments, get in the chat right now. Let's talk about this. Who decides when you're up to run a fade ball with a minute to go? I mean, even if the run game is suspect, just run it. The game is over, basically. I didn't understand that. Okay, so you got Warren Sapp, he's working on that. Clearly, they need some work. But even still, you're up. So even if you don't trust it, why, with a minute left, would you run a fade ball? Makes no sense at all. But hey, they took the W. And hopefully they can run on, work on their run game. Like I said, it's a little suspect. But is it slightly better than what it was last year? Yes, of course. People are saying, oh, they're probably going to win 3 or 4 games like they did last year. Okay. I'm really not looking at the numbers. I'm just looking at the production. Are they more productive? And even if let's say they win 6 or 7, maybe they do win 4. Who knows? But has the productivity changed? That's the point. And that's with any team. It's not just Colorado because prime time is there. No. What is the productivity overall for a team that needs to improve? Okay, we can go out there and win 13 games barely by a field goal, walk off by a touchdown, walk off, or whatever the case may be, but has the productivity improved? That's the bigger point to me. Jump in the chat. Let me know what y'all think. Now, check this out, right? What's the longest period of time that you would expect a player to be in college and playing football? Get down in the chat. That's going to be our poll question this year. How many seasons do you think is more than enough for a player to continue to play college football? Well, Cam McCormick is a super duper senior. Yep. This is his 9th college football season. Now, the tight end, for whatever reason, has had a plethora, of things that's taken place throughout his college tenure. In 2016, he was redshirted at Oregon. In 2017, he played 13 games. 2018 through 2020, he was injured. And in 21, I believe he got injured in the 3rd game. 2022, 13 games. 23, 13 games in Miami. And now 24 is in progress. Super duper senior. It's like Regina King told Ice Cube in the movie Higher Learning, oh, I heard you was a super duper senior. That's exactly what's going on here. Now, the 26-year-old tight end scored Miami's first touchdown of the season against Florida earlier last week. Now, McCormick is the longest tenured player in college football history. Now, if I'm his parents, I didn't even look to see if he has an NIL deal or, perhaps he has a small deal and he's making enough money to where he feels like this is his job. I want to know how many degrees you have in 9 years. And furthermore, what is the statute of limitation that you can stay in college as a student? I'm talking about continuously. Is there a cutoff time? Because are you going to be 30-something years old? I remember the kicker from Colorado State was like 31, 6 kids with a wife or something like that. It's weird. I don't even understand how this happens. But I believe, and at least I thought that there was a statute of limitation. If somebody can find that out, leave me what you find in the comments. Listen, Deion wants to talk to the fathers out there. And what he's talking about is something that I think that hits home for a lot of fathers who may go through things themselves. I mean, women, we go through our own situations and we deal with them, whether a relationship, marriage works out, or if it doesn't, we still maintain who we are and be a parent. And I've never been a baby mama. I've always been a mother. And Dion wants men to know that you are not baby daddies. You are fathers. So let's take a listen to what Dion has to say.
Want to be better fathers? Women as well as men, African American, we think we got to be perfect, and we don't come from perfect. So how can we ever be perfect? We just got to be present. When I coach youth league in Texas, and I used to call the fathers, the broken relationships, the broken marriage, and say, "Look, dog, I don't even need you to come to practice. Just come to the game, dog. I just need you to sit over there. When your shorty look at you, just tilt your head." That's affirmation. You know why they jump on LeVar Ball? Because he was present and he was speaking out for his baby. It's true. You got to give him love. You got to give Ron love. You can say what you want. He's been there. He's supposed to pave the way for his baby. He's supposed to do that. Last time I checked, everybody else doing it. I'm a divorced father, but I didn't stop fathering. No matter what life presents you, don't stop doing what you've been called to do. I've built my life around my kids. The moves I made was based on my babies, not me. They was based on what was good for them. Ain't no baby daddy. I'm a father.
And that's what the message was. I ain't no baby daddy. I'm a father. Regardless of your circumstances, regardless of whether something works out or if it doesn't, be present. That's all you have to do. As parents, be it a mother or a father, we need to stop making excuses for what we cannot do in support of our children. If your child is into sports, support them. If your child is into painting, support them. If your child is into music, support them, or whatever it is that they are into, support them. Irregardless is if you are with the parent or not. Don't stop being a mother and don't stop being a father. One thing I wish would go away in society are terms that don't describe a situation the way that it is. Baby mama and baby daddy was a song. There was a song, that's just my baby daddy. Now I'm telling my age, but you could go on YouTube or Google it and you can see. And that term took flight. Just like other terms, wifey took flight. Okay. What do these young girls call these the men zaddy. All of these terms are it's just stupid to me. Let me just call it what it is. It's stupid. It's nonsense. Live in your space. Live in where you are and what your life has called you to be. And if your life has called you to be a parent, regardless as if the relationship of the person that you had the child with sticks or not, don't stop showing up. Don't stop being present. And that's the point that Time was trying to make in that video. So listen, we have more college football scores and highlights coming up on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to go on there. Win is a Win podcast. The link will be in our website. Go to DrT23.site. That is DRT23.site. Click the link to our YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe there, and we will be right back. Looking for some quality betting picks? Well, download the Discord app and join our group Bet Masters Lounge, where you can get positive EV and arbitrage along with best bets and parlays. Download Discord now, send us an invite, and get in on the action. Well, it looks like this never-ending 49er saga with Ayuk is finally over. All that huffing and puffing and big bad wolf, I'm going to follow you, I'm going to unfollow you, I'm going to tweet this and not tweet. Okay, I'm glad it's over with. But at the end of the day, Brandon Ayuk is staying a 49er. Let's take a look at this drama-filled timeline. Now, in March, Ayuk unfollows the 49ers on Instagram. Then in April, the 49ers draft Ricky Parcell. And then Ayuk then requests in July a trade. And then that was on fire for a while. He was even tweeting Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. Oh, we look alike, twin. And, somebody altered a photo with him in a Steelers uniform and so on and so on. And now here we are just coming off of August. It's barely September. And now he's extended. So he'll be a 49er over the next several seasons, signing to a 4-year, $120 million contract extension that includes $76 million in guarantees. This makes him, I believe, the 5th highest paid wide receiver with an average salary of $30 million. I have a question, and those who have some intel, let me know. Or it's not really a question, it's a statement, and feel free to jump down in the comments in the chat. When did this wide receiver pay become so huge? I mean, we expect the quarterbacks to get paid. All right, that's just how it is. They got to go under center and get you the ball. They got to get it downfield. I get it. So that's not, when you hear that, the market change, this person wants that person wants that, the QBs are go, okay, I get it. But the wide receivers, I'm talking about, and there isn't anybody on a team to me that is less important than another person. But my Lord, it just seems like for the last year or year and a half or so, it has been wide receiver mania with these contracts. What's changed? Do you guys see that anything has changed as far as the wideouts and how they're getting paid? Or better yet, where did it start? That's where I'm confused. I'm just trying to figure out where it started. Listen, speaking of Parasol, he was shot in an incident believed to be robbed or an attempted robbery. I'm not entirely sure, but he's a first round draft pick for the 49ers, and he was shot in Union Square. Now, so far, they have updated him to be in stable condition, and the suspect is in custody. Now, he was at an autograph signing at a Cow Palace in the afternoon, then headed to Union Square to shop. And he was shot through the chest with the bullet going through his armpit. And then I guess the police said that the suspect accidentally shot himself. So it's good to hear that nothing happened, detrimental to this young man. And it just goes to show that you can't even go out. You can't even go out as a person who's not even an athlete and worry about somebody taking from you or somebody who has any type of notoriety. To actually have that notoriety, and you're at a autograph signing, probably was being watched, I would guess, and followed, and the attempt failed. But just be careful. And that's with, anybody. And it doesn't just have to be an athlete, but glad to hear that nothing came of that. And I'm sure the 49ers put out a statement as well. So I'm glad to see that he's not hurt. anything serious, and that he came out of that with his life. Jordan Addison has had a tough offseason. Yes, he has. Now, he had a DUI. Let's look at this timeline. And then torn ACL. All right. And then a hamstring injury. Keep going. And a torn meniscus. So now he's facing a 3-game suspension for his DUI arrest. Promising second year. I think I can't say his name. I think it's Mekhi Blackmon. Tore his ACL in the first training camp practice, and projected starting QB Shaq Griffin suffered his hamstring injury one day into training camp and remains out. And first round QB JJ McCarthy is undergoing meniscus surgery. So, Addison has had a tough off season himself, and you got to be held accountable for that DUI and make better choices. And then when you look at the Vikings overall, I mean, tough. Sometimes things don't start out the right way, but perhaps they may finish. You never know. Just because one thing happens and you look at it like, oh, our season is done. We just got JJ. He's hurt. All right, so Addison, he's got to sit out. It just because it starts off shaky doesn't mean it has to end up that way. Listen, Mr. I don't want nobody playing with my money Jones decides to remain general manager over the Cowboys. That's right. Jerry Jones has confirmed that he'll remain the Cowboys general manager at 81 years old. And he was quoted by saying, "I've done it all. So I have an ordinate amount of confidence that if anybody can figure out how to get this shit done, I can figure out how to get it done." And, I mean, sometimes Jerry says stuff and I'm like, all right, Jerry, as long as you know what you meant. He continues on by saying, "I've been there every which way from Sunday, and I have busted my ass a bunch. And there's nobody living that's out cutting and shooting that can't give you a bunch of times they busted their ass. So hell no. There's nobody that could effing come in here and do all the contracts and be a GM any better than I can." All right, Jerry. He keeps going. Plus, I'm where the buck stops. When it F's up, I got to cover it. And so there you can't give anybody enough. Can't give. There's nobody can do it. I told y'all only Jerry know what he means. He still was going and saying the reason that I don't let somebody else be the GM is because I don't have anybody that I will let do it to actually do it right. And they're going to have to come to me. And because I know where it is, that's where you're going to pay for it. All right, Jerry. So, in other words, like I said, I don't want nobody messing with my money. And it seems that he wants to keep all the money in his house. And that just means that, as crazy as this sounds, it's crazy to me in the sense that Cowboys fans think any other way. But nothing's going to happen with this team. It's been 30 years. 30. You're still living on what you had when you had time, when you had, Emmitt Smith. It's done right now. And until that office changes or Jerry gets tired and, staffing moves around, It's just, they got a Super Bowl off of Jimmy Jones' talent and coaching. And, you know, the irony to me is if he steps down or if somebody else becomes GM, I believe that the restructuring of that team can put the Dallas Cowboys in a true conversation. Notice I said true, because this just conversations or this delirium that goes on in Jerry's world, however he feels and he sees his team. And hey, who are we to tell him how to see his team? The Cowboys, yes, are the richest, wealthiest franchise in the world. That just was valued a couple of weeks ago at $10 billion. Yeah. The wealthiest franchise in the world. So Jerry, Cowboys fans, I'm sorry, he's not going anywhere. And he's basically letting you know that I'm staying. The money is mine. I'll spend it how I choose. And no one else is coming through the door. I have all the coins. And every year I'm going to let you guys know that this is our year. I'm going to let you know every year that this is when we're going to the Super Bowl. I'm going to let you know every year that the Dallas Cowboys are it. I'm going to let you know every year, and it keeps going on and on until you just look and you just keep looking like, okay, at what point does reality kick in to Jerry and say, in 29 years of hope, 29 years of trying, 29 years of me not making the best decisions, 29 years of drama. I mean, come on now. We'll get into Dalvin Cook a little bit later into this show, but I'm just saying, talk about spinning the block and keep going back and back. It's like going through that little rabbit turnaround. What is it called? The thing that you drive through. You got to go right and yield. You got to drive left and yield, and then you end up being in a complete circle because you don't really know which street you're supposed to go up. That's how the Dallas is right now. I'm tired of hearing about the Cowboys and Jerry. Listen, how do you get the playbook and dip? How you just get the playbook and just leave? Well, the Ravens are signing the Browns' QB, Tyler Huntley. Now, Huntley returns to Baltimore after one season in Cleveland, and he did what he was supposed to do. I mean, how many quarterbacks did we go through, Browns? And how many more are we going to have to go through? Because, I mean, when you look at Deshaun, he hasn't performed. I'm glad they kind of restructured his contract so we could get some more money, and realizing that, listen, young man, you need to take a pay cut because this is aging like spoiled milk over here. But nonetheless, Huntley is now a Raven again. That's crazy. Took the playbook and got missing. Well. Here we are. And it is almost time for the NFL season to start. And Mr. Uno still has no deal in the Bengals den. That's right. Who is Burrow going to be throwing to? Will Chase take the field? Should be interesting. Now, he is reportedly eyeing, and here's where the pettiness comes in. He's eyeing a record-setting contract that would top Justin Jefferson's. Y'all ready for this? By 1 penny. No. I think let me hold on. Let me say that again. He's holding out for a contract that would top Jefferson by 1 penny. Jefferson's new four-year deal is worth $140 million, $35 million a year. Chase is looking to eclipse that mark by 1 cent to become the highest paid non-QB in NFL history. This is a different type of petty. I mean, some people are saying, hey, look, I don't blame him because they were on the same team in college. So he just wants to one-up him, on some funny stuff. But my question is, and I know Bengals fans. I have one of the biggest Bengals fan who listens to this show every episode. Well, I'm gonna ruffle some feathers right now. No, it's not a list. Okay. You guys know the list, I don't have one. But here's my question. Okay. And it might get a little touchy. Okay. It might get a little scary, this question, and I'm gonna ruffle somebody's feathers. But when we look at these two, is Ja'Marr Chase as good as Jefferson? No, you didn't. Yes, I did. I want to know. Get down in the chat and let me know. Is Ja'Marr Chase as good as Jefferson to be asking for this contract? I want to know what you guys think. And listen, at the end of the day, it's all business. Again, this goes back to what I said earlier. The wide receiver pay has become top topic. Number one topic. Wide receivers are holding the phone. They are holding tight on those cleats. We are not coming. We are not suiting up. We are not putting on pads. We aren't doing any of that until you pay me. Now, everybody knows that the Bengals are the cheapest league team in the league. I don't necessarily agree with that because Burrow is a top paid QB. So, I don't know. Everybody's going to have their opinion about this, but I want to know that question. Is Uno better than Jefferson? All right. So here we go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Where will Dak go? Now, Dak, I think, he's a free agent next year. And where's the best landing spot, you guys? Jump in the chat and let me know for Dak if he leaves Dallas. I'm going to tell you what I think. I think that he would look good with the Raiders. And some people are like, oh, well, he should go to the Saints or he should go to I think it's Tennessee or the Giants. Don't you ever put Dak in a Giants uniform. I'm just gonna say that, and I'm not even a Cowboys fan. I don't want to see that. But and some people might call me a casual because I'm saying that he should go to the Raiders, but I don't I don't know. I mean, then some people are say, well, Tip, the Raiders are waiting for Deion's son. I don't know that either. I don't know that either, but I do know that I do not want to see Dak in a Giants uniform. What do you guys think? Where do you think that Dak should go after his contract is up because clearly there's no movement from Jerry, Mr. I'm keeping all my money to myself, Jones. Here we go again. Yes, I said it like that because Aaron Rodgers, yeah, he just won't be quiet. And football season hasn't even started yet. Aaron Rodgers wants to retire a Jet, but not before bringing the Lombardi Trophy to New York, not once, but twice. You know, and I've just had enough of him talking. I've had enough of the breakdowns of his life in these intricate hallways that we have to go down to find where he's at and what he means and what's happening with him and his brain that nobody really cares about. What I would like to see you do, Aaron, is take more than 4 snaps this year and play some football. That's what I would like for you to do, Aaron. I don't want to hear anything else. I don't care about when you retire, what you want. Just play some football. He was quoted saying, I want to do 2 good ones to give us a chance to retire a Jet, win 2 Super Bowls. And all right, in my mind, I'm like, okay, so in other words, you want to retire a Packer. That's basically a different type of, like, there isn't any words that you can put together. And even if you sit here and try to find them, Aaron Rodgers is just, he's a unique individual in his own way. And rightfully he can be. But at the same time, shut up. Just shut up. We done went from ayahuasca to going into caves. He goes into dark mode, can't find them. Then he leaves, goes to Egypt. He goes on podcasts and says weird things. And then he comes back and gives us a long explanation as to why he was missing in Egypt on his usual trip. Leaves the coach to try to make all type of excuses, looking fugazi in the media. Just play football, Aaron. That's all you have to do. And if you listen to podcasts and if you listen to my podcast, because I do know that some people listen to A Win is a Win, and you come across this podcast, please, if you would like to sit down and talk to me, we can, but we're going to talk about football and what you intend to do on the field. Nobody wants to hear anything else, Aaron. So just please stop talking. Stop talking. Whatever it is that you want to do it. Whatever it is that you don't want to do, don't. But we don't want to hear anything else about your intentions and what it is that you would like to do. Because now we're going to talk about Dalvin Cook has joined the Cowgirl Nation. Yep. Dalvin Cook is joining Zeke in Dallas. I just think that, in my personal opinion, if this was about 6.5 or 7 years ago, this would be a nice pickup. But it just seems to be, I mean, what? For what? What's the reason? What is it adding? This is aging again, like spoiled milk. Now, some people are saying with these two, who's going to stop this running back duo? All right, well, it's a lot of people that can stop this running back duo. But let's look at the odds, right? So the odds before signing Dalvin Cook was plus 1,800. Super Bowl odds, that is. And then after signing Dalvin Cook, it's still plus 1,800. So even Vegas is saying, yeah, this is not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference. And for me, this is another reason why I say that until Jerry moves along out of the way of them Cowboys, they are not going anywhere. fast. Okay, not going anywhere. But hey, like he said, I'm not moving. I'm gonna play hop, skip, and jump rope, ride bikes, get on motorcycles. I'm gonna make some sausage and eggs, and then I'm gonna eat some fruit, and then I'm gonna make a deal on a napkin and then hand it off to the agent, and then I'm gonna go play golf. Like, none of what he says makes sense. That's my point. Just like what I said made absolutely no sense. That's how I feel. That's what I feel, what goes on in my head when I'm listening to Jerry and his nonsense. And this is another reason why you spun the block, went back and got Zeke. Now you got Dalvin. What is that doing? I have no idea. But it's the Cowgirls. It's their way. The fans are going to say, oh, we up next. We got Super Bowl this year. We All right. They can have it. But guess what we're going to do? We're going to come back and we're going to talk about a couple of picks for this upcoming NFL season that starts this week with those Ravens and the Chiefs. All right, coming right back. Voting is the cornerstone of our democracy. We know that people fought tooth and nail to get that privilege. It is how we make our voices heard, and we drive change in our communities through voting. Your vote matters, so make sure you are registered, stay informed, and cast your ballot this upcoming election. Remember, your vote is your power. If you are not registered to vote, go to vote.org. That's vote.org. Get registered so that your voice is heard. Let's get back to the show. All right, you guys got your coins ready? Get those coins out so that you can put them together to get some of these bets going, right? So here are my top 3 picks for this week. Again, join me on DraftKings. Go ahead and go to drT23.site. That is DRT23.site. Click join me on DraftKings. $5 bet. They're going to match you up to $250. Get your bets in, make a little bit of money. So now with the Ravens and Chiefs, I'm breaking this down by halves on this game. So the first half, I'm going with the under 23.5. Remember, that's not game line. That's the first half. All right. I'm going with the Packers and the Eagles. For game, I have under 49. And then for the Vikings and Giants, for the game, I am going under 41.5. And don't forget, as the season goes, we're going to get into parlays. We're going to dig a lot deeper into positive EV, all of these different things, arbitrage, a lot of different betting strategies to help you win. And remember, put in, 2-man slips, 3-man slips are good. Don't go overboard. Only bet what you're willing to lose, and don't bet with emotion. Do your homework. Bet early. Get it out the way, because when those games start and you are trying to bet to catch up, or you are trying to bet out of emotion, it's we're on the goal line and they're down 1 touchdown, and you go and put $300 that they're getting ready to score, and then they get a hard stop. Don't bet like that. Bet responsibly. I listen and watch and read about sports every single day. Why? It's not just my job, but because I love it. And so therefore, I'm looking at different lines. I'm looking at different data. I'm looking at different things that affects the outcome of the game. Definitely do your homework early. Bet responsibly, get on DraftKings, and we are going to try and get into some prize picks. Yeah, we're going to jump into some prize picks, so keep listening for that. And then we are going to come right back, because I have a whole lot to say in these gone now, because it's a whole lot of people that need to just gone now. Okay, we're coming right back. Are you tired of overpriced groceries and limited options at the supermarket? Because I know I am. Well, try Misfit Marketplace, where every box is packed with delicious organic produce at up to 40% off retail prices. That's right. You get your fresh fruits to colorful veggies. Misfit Marketplace delivers quality ingredients straight to your door. Visit misfitmarket.com and use code POD20, that is POD20, to get 20% off your first order, and tell them that Dr. T sent you. Eat well, save money, and join the Misfit movement today. Go on now. Listen, I have had enough with these executives of these, Fortune 500 companies using people, problems, economy, issues to use that as a reason to lace their pockets. And what do I mean? Well, Kroger exec admits price gouging. Now listen, this past year has been hard on the pockets for groceries specifically. And this wolf knuckle faced executive on Tuesday of last week admitted in court to raising prices on essentials like eggs and milk far beyond inflation rates, while 7 out of 8 national news outlets claimed greedflation isn't a real and criticized Kamala Harris' plans against price gouging. All right, well, we thought this was Biden's fault. We thought this was the government's fault. And I've said it again. And unless you go to school and you understand the branches of government and you understand what you were taught in school, then that argument had no legs. Okay, gone now. Get out of the conversation if you are not going to come with facts. And even if you don't know the facts, even if you are misinformed or uneducated, there's nothing wrong with say, hey, help me understand what's going on here because I don't understand. Well, Kroger hiked milk, egg prices above inflation. Now, this is what happened. Prices increases on consumers' items in spotlight at FTC hearing. Agency challenging proposed deal between Kroger and Albertsons. Kroger company hiked the prices on these products more than needed to account for inflation. The company's top pricing executive testified during a court hearing on the U.S. government's bid to block the grocery chain's purchase of its rival Albertsons. Listen, leave Albertsons alone. I like Albertsons. I go there and their prices are reasonable. But here we are. The greedy hand with a long reach is trying to grab up another entity and say, hey, now that we own you, we are going to pay your employees the same, if not less, staff slim, and raise prices. No. First of all, let's talk about the quality of this food. Let's talk about the type of food that you guys are putting into the stores for people to buy. There isn't any form of fruit that I'm going to buy that's seedless, okay? Excuse me. Pardon me. Sinuses, you guys, my apologies. There isn't any form of fruit that I'm going to buy that is seedless. There aren't any. Why does my eggs need to say non-GMO? Why does my milk need to be classified as organic when, excuse me, guys, when we should be eating real food in the first place? Now, me, I don't drink milk. I just think it's nasty. I think that we shouldn't be drinking cow's milk, but that's another topic for another episode. But at the same time, you are lacing your pockets off of the backs of people who are going out here and working more for the same or less. Now, what the government and Congress can do is get control over how the pricing works and give the business to our local farmers instead of going outside the country to, ship in things that are obviously going to cost a lot more. Now, listen, Wells Fargo Y'all already get the off-centered observation for the shady backdoor business that y'all do. And now y'all have literally upped it. Gone now. Like, y'all could go on anyway for how you do people's accounts, and you continuously are opening and fostering illegal checking and savings accounts, always in court, always getting sued. Oh, you're getting Wells Fargo was in a class action lawsuit. Look for your payment. Well, okay, now listen, if the class action lawsuit was just $1 billion and you have 1 billion people, you're gonna get a check for probably a penny somewhere. But listen to this. A 60-year-old female employee at Wells Fargo office in Tempe, Arizona, died at her desk, and her body wasn't discovered until 4 days later. Take a listen to this.
First reported yesterday. Tonight, Tempe police are confirming the timeline of when the woman clocked in to when her colleagues found the body. 12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra is in the studio with new details tonight. Gabby, 4 days. I mean, this poor woman went 4 days undiscovered. It's hard to believe. And that's a question many employees are asking themselves tonight. I spoke with an employee who said that she shared her perspective on the workplace environment, and they say it's a big building, but most people don't work there on a daily basis. A Wells Fargo employee went to work the morning of Friday, August 16th, and never went home. Tempe police tell 12 News 60-year-old Denise Prudhomme scanned into work at 7 o'clock in the morning. 4 days later, police responded to the office building near Washington Street and Priest Drive for reports of a subject down. Prudhomme was declared dead. The Tempe Police Criminal Investigation Bureau is investigating, but do not suspect foul play. A Wells Fargo employee exclusively spoke with 12 News, but asked not to be recorded or identified out of fear for their job. They say a colleague found Prudhomme dead at her desk in a cubicle while walking around the building on Tuesday, August 20th. Prudhomme's cubicle was reportedly on the 3rd floor and away from the main aisle. This employee says several people had smelled a foul odor, but passed it off as faulty plumbing. They say while most Wells Fargo employees at this Tempe location work remote, the building has 24/7 security, and someone should have found Prudhomme soon.
So you mean to tell me that the cleaning people, the security guards that are supposed to make rounds in this building, nobody paid attention to that area? Come on now. There's two things that's wrong here. One, Wells Fargo, you had an employee that checked in. You didn't even, you mean to tell me they came in, clocked in for work, and didn't come back in and clock in since they clocked in? So you mean to tell me y'all not checking time cards? Because I surely know that when I was in charge of staff at the hospital, we had to check time cards, if not daily, every week when payroll was due. So you mean to tell me that you clock in for work, you don't clock out for lunch, you don't clock out for a break, you don't clock out to go home for 4 days consistently, even though you're not there all the time, you're still on their time. Furthermore, are the cleaning people actually doing their job? Are the security guards who are supposed to be making rounds doing their job? Because how is it that employees come in here and they smell something that no one else smelled? Furthermore, does, Wells Fargo have a department under employee health that, employee concerns, employee assistance programs that say, hey, we're concerned because we haven't heard from this employee? And where are you located in this building that you could just be at your desk, that nobody goes by there and say, hey, if you're there and you're working and people can see you and they see you getting up and down and going to the coffee room and going to the bathroom, and you mean to tell me that no one in that building saw you get up from your desk and leave? So you just dead at your desk and nobody cared. Go on now. Go on now. Now, Wells Fargo, stop it. What is your explanation for this other than what you told the news? That is disgusting. And furthermore, a little bit deeper, does that young lady have family that was concerned because they hadn't heard from her? Or was she alone? There's so many different layers to this, but on the top, Wells Fargo, y'all need to be ashamed of yourself. You need to do better. Hopefully this situation will make you take a look at that building and pass the word around to other buildings and say, hey, we need to check in on our employees. Or managers, you need to check your time cards. Or maybe this will prompt some people to make rounds, because listen to me. To die at your desk and just be there for days, and people think that your decomposing body is the sewer, and not one employee in those 4 days, until it was way later, said, hey, something might be wrong here. Go on now. That's going to end it for this week's episode of A Win is a Win. Hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. And don't forget, I'm not charging you anything to do it. It just take a second. It's a little bit of a commitment, but it's all right. I promise you'll get a little bit of entertainment out of it. Hit that notification bell so you know when a new episode drops. And guess what, y'all? You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can listen to us on Audible. YouTube channel will be up. Pay attention for the rollout date on that. And I will be right back here next week, y'all. Hopefully not sneezing and having a little bit better sinus problems is in check, hopefully so. But I will be right back here next week, y'all. Peace.